there, my fellow skeptics and believers and everyone in between. Welcome back to another episode of Ghosts in the Machine. I'm so excited about this one. It's the first in-person interview that I have done for this series. And although the video quality is not the best, and I'll explain that in a minute, it was still a fascinating conversation. So I got to sit down with Leo Igwe. He is a human rights activist. He is the founder of the Humanist Association of Nigeria. He does a lot of work over there. That's where he's born, raised, where he lives, and he does a lot of work protecting the lives of children and adults from accusations of witchcraft. Yes, in this day and age, in 2023, we still have people not only being accused of witchcraft, but also suffering attacks, torture, and oftentimes being killed by their own family members in this day and age because of accusations of witchcraft. So I'm not going to get into it because Leo does a much better job of explaining what's going on and the work he does, and I'm very excited to get to the interview. So before I do, I want to give you two warnings. One is that some of the content is a little graphic when we get into descriptions of what happens, especially when some of the descriptions with torture and the death that are going on. It's a little graphic and it might be disturbing to you. I think it's better that it is in this video so you get the full impact of what's really going on there. So that's why we didn't edit anything out of it. The second thing I want to warn you about is, again, the video quality is not the best. This is the first in-person interview that I've done for this vlog, and this vlog is more of a pet project for me. It's something that I do for my job, but it's more of a personal thing. So the production quality is not always up to par, and I mean, in past videos, it's been really good, but in this one, I had 3 cameras set up, which I thought every camera was on the same settings, like the visual settings, but they were not. One camera cut out about 7 minutes into the video, and as luck would have it, or bad luck would have it, it was the camera that was specifically on Leo to get his full front shot, so I lost all that footage. So, yeah. The video quality is not the best, but I have learned from it. I'm going to be doing much better from now on. I have better equipment and better setup and help now that will help me make better videos. But anyway, watch the video or listen to the video, do something else, do a hobby or work on something else and listen to this in the background. There's a lot of good information here and it really needs to be heard. And I'm very excited for you to hear about it. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to just get to the interview. So enjoy. So, how you doing, Leo?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great?
Yes, I'm doing great.
Yes.
Yes.
You've been traveling a lot.
Yes, I've been traveling a lot, but I've been looking forward to this meeting.
Oh, really? Like that?
I've been looking forward to coming here.
To coming here,
yes.
Doing this meeting right here.
Exactly. Because this is the center.
This is the center, yes.
I've been traveling around, but now I'm at the center.
Now you're literally at the center
yes.
of everything.
Of everything. Yes.
Everything.
Everything, yes.
So for people that are watching this that might not know who you are, okay. Can you give us a brief description? Who is Leo Igwe?
Yes, I'm happy you said brief so that I know where to start. Well, Leo Igwe is just a guy born in a rural community. Okay. In southeastern Nigeria, and when I say rural community, it means that when you are growing up, I didn't grow up with a lot of amenities you associate with urban life, okay. And also the Western life, Yeah. So when I say that, no electricity, no pipe-borne water. Wow. When I was born, my parents were living in a hut, not just like a cemented building. Okay. We go to streams to fetch water, Or we depend on the rain, we collect water and things like that. So life was a struggle, okay? Right. Yeah, but of course I started in the primary school. I started serving as an altar boy, helping the priest at the church.
Okay. So you were a Christian household, right?
Yeah. Okay. My parents, actually my grandparents were traditional religionists. Then my parents, when they were growing up, of course, they needed to go to schools, and the schools were controlled by the missions.
Okay.
So what happens is that for you to go to school, and you really have to relax and have proper access, you have to convert so that you don't face discrimination in any way.
Wow.
So people were pressured. Yeah, they will say that they converted. It was not really conversion. You see, I don't want us to go with this idea, oh, they converted. No, they were pressured because they needed to get education. So I was born into a Catholic family, but within my environment, people were practicing other religions. It was a little confusing growing up as a child because back home you see shrines all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you actually, when you are going to the church, you will be crossing shrines as you are going.
Okay.
So a whole lot of confusion,
Okay.
Yeah. So after that, then I enrolled. My mother, got me enrolled in a seminary.
Okay.
So I was training to be a priest. So I was there. After 5 years, I taught. I was an auxiliary teacher because sometimes after the high school, they will select a few of them.
Okay.
A few brilliant ones to teach as auxiliary teacher in the school.
So you were brilliant.
Yeah, a bit.
You're a pretty smart guy. No. I have to say, you are a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Okay.
So I was an auxiliary teacher when I was 17, actually.
17?
Yes.
So when did you go in the seminary?
I was 12.
12?
Yes. So I finished 1987. Then I taught in the small minor seminary as an auxiliary teacher.
Okay.
Then after that, I was sent to study philosophy still in a Catholic seminary for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then after 4 years, I was sent back to that minor seminary again we call it apostolic work.
Okay.
Yeah. You just do a little bit of practicals, and I was teaching. I was teaching the students Latin, then basic French, because I was good in languages then.
Okay.
And all that. Then after that, I enrolled for theology. But after 3 months, I got fed up.
Okay, so what was your breaking point? What made it?
Well, it was a gradual thing because I joined the seminary as a child. I was 12 years. So as we are growing up, it's like, okay, is this for me? Am I going to be a priest? Those questions about what you're going to be. And it's tough for a child because you will still be making use of your brain as a child.
Right.
And many things will not be very clear. It's like when you are trying to predict the future, even though there are people who are professionals in doing that. Right. I know we'll get to that later. You get it? So as a child growing up, you really can't say exactly. So, but what happened was that as I was growing, I was in the seminary, they were telling us, the house of God. We'll go to a church, a place. They say, this place is the house of God. But it's always empty. You don't see anyone. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, who is here?
Who is here?
Yeah,
right.
Who is here? I'm just telling you my curiosity as a child. So, and we just come in, we pray, then we leave, and the place is empty. And dogs will come inside the place, and
really,
the person who owns the house will not send the dogs away. The goats will come. Insects. Birds will come and build their nest and around the place. And the person who owns the house cannot even tidy it, clean it. We are also the ones cleaning the house. So I was like, who is this? And you're expected to come and worship the person, pray, and tell the person solve the needs, but the person cannot clean the floor. That kind of thing. So I was like, something must be wrong somewhere. But as a child, I was just coming down. Then I finished my, that's high school, studied philosophy. It was when I now studied philosophy that I now started, I become bolder and more inquisitive and sharper because we were studying logic and, doing a little bit of critical thinking.
Okay.
But in a very Catholic way.
Like a little tunnel.
Yes. They try to measure
critical thinking.
Yeah. Don't be too critical.
Be critical of other people,
exactly,
not us.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's a way they tell us there. They say you have to apply it, but at a point you have to apply faith. So they subsume critical thinking to faith. So, but I want to go a little further, and it's like, okay, this is not a place for you. Of course, this is what was going on in my mind. Mm-hmm. So. And then I started studying other religions, and I found that it's not only Catholic, it's not only Christianity, it's not only Christian traditional religion. We also have Islam, we have Hinduism, we have Buddhism, we have so many other religions. And it's like, why do you have many religions instead of one?
That's the big question. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Because if, for instance, I said this is a pen. I said this is a pen. Nobody come, this is a pen. So nobody doesn't call, okay, this is a stick. This is chocolate. This, they keep saying so many things about one thing.
Right. Right.
So the thing was puzzling me, and I felt that being in the system, being in the seminary, being a priest, is not a way for me to honestly confront these ideas.
Okay.
That's one. Number two, I was seeing the impact. Now, let me just tell you a few stories.
Sure.
Now, you see, while we were there, there were cases of stealing in the seminary.
In the seminary?
Yes.
That pretty much goes against a lot what they're teaching, right?
Now, there was one of the priests who was he used to flog a lot because they still do corporal punishment in Nigeria. I know that if you do it here, you go to jail, but but there are people they still flog. So this priest used to flog a lot, and he flogs with a very big stick.
Okay.
So what happened was that one morning we woke up and somebody has poured acid on the car. Yeah.
On the car.
Yeah, on his car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of sending a message to
him. Yeah. Saying, don't beat us.
So that was it. So everybody woke up and we went there. We saw it. It turned to the paint on the car, and all that. So everybody was, who did this? And you know what? The priest's house is just a stone throw from the church where the God is living.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, God did not see the person. Up to today, we didn't know who poured that acid.
Right.
That's one. We woke up one morning, they said they had stolen the machine they used to roll out our papers, because then when we were in the 80s, we still have what they call cycle-styling machine. You
right, from your newsletters?
Yes, for exam papers. Okay. We woke up one morning, the store was empty. Somebody had stolen the machine. And we're living in such a way that the house of God, and with all the blessed sacrament and the light, everything is there. So apparently God saw when they came and stole the thing and couldn't tell the priest. I said, no, something is wrong with this thing. You get it? Something is wrong. So you asked me what was the breaking point. So it was like a gradual thing, because I was still a child. I was still growing up. And I wanted to be sure I'm not trying to correct a mistake with another mistake.
Right.
Right. So I was being very careful. So, but it got to a point, I thought that the best thing could do, just leave this place, leave these people, go somewhere and be on your own and try to find a way to figure things out on your own. So that was why when I went to study theology, they started telling us about God, they now went, philosophy was mild. I could connect with it. So when we went to study theology, it was like no, I can't survive here. I will suffocate here one day and die. So I just came back home. I told my parents, I'm done. And what I went to my local bishop. I just told him I would like to go and think.
You just needed time to think.
I needed a space to go and think, because I couldn't think when I was there.
How did that go over?
Yeah, well, that thinking now brought me to starting the Humanist Movement, because I felt that the humanist philosophy and outlook resonated with my own thoughts, because even the religion is all about human beings. Who called religion?
Humans.
Who built the church?
Humans.
Who called God?
Humans.
Who called spirit?
Humans.
Who tells us where God is living?
I'm sensing a pattern here.
No, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I know.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, even the religion itself is a human enterprise, is a human creation, it's a human product.
It's a construct.
So I had to pitch my tent with the humanistic philosophy.
Okay.
So I found that was what really brought everything together. So whether you call it atheism, you call it theism, it's all human constructs.
Right.
Click on it, you see a human being there. Look at it. So I just came to that point. I said, okay, I'll start with it. Okay. So, and that was how I started now reaching out to the Center for Inquiry, reached out to other humanist organizations. They started sending me newsletters, and it's like, okay, this is what I want to.
Right.
I want to read. The religious state. Oh yeah, you go to heaven. You wear white garment. And you say, oh come on. After you are dead, I couldn't connect.
Right.
I need to make sense of the here and now.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it. So, and this is what this was why I said, okay, I think this is where I belong. Or these are people I could relate to, And back to the center. And you find out that it is the inquiry spirit, it is the investigative spirit that brought me there. So getting to know about free inquiry, getting to know about Center for Inquiry was like, okay, things are coming together. Yeah, you can see now why I'm at the center.
Right. Yeah. Because you like to dig into things. You love it. And we had a great conversation last night.
Yeah.
And just learning about how you dig into accusations and people and what they're doing. I love that. So after you're done with seminary, you're gone, and you start discovering like the center and all this stuff. And there's atrocities going on around you. So you are in a Catholic household, right? Catholic household, but all around you, you're surrounded by superstitions, and witchcraft accusations. Now your witchcraft accusations are much different than what I think some of the people in like the United States would think. So what can you tell us about that? Like when somebody accuses someone else of witchcraft, what does that mean?
Okay, yeah. The thing is that while growing up, I noticed that some people blame their problems on others. And I try to understand that. Even within our family, when we were growing up, my parents then would bring us together. They say we should pray against your enemies. Your enemies will scuttle your progress. We pray against them every night. And I keep imagining, they make you, at a point, you become a bit paranoid. So that when you are doing something, if you make a mistake, you say, those my enemies are there, So people are brought up somehow to think that there are some people who are after them. If not just materially, but immaterial, not just physically, but metaphysically. Okay? Not just naturally, but supernaturally. So people are socialized, in this situation whereby they feel somebody's after them. Okay? Good. Now, some people are fingered. The point accusing fingered. Some people are said to be those doing that. So they will point out, they say, okay, this man or this woman and all that. So there were accusations even when I was growing up, okay? Because these people are suspected to be involved in the occult world. And Christianity complicated it by demonizing those who practice traditional religious beliefs. Because a lot of people in the rural communities, they try to put together certain things, rituals or charms or whatever you call it, which they claim they're using to protect themselves. When you are protecting yourself, it means one face is protection, another face is an attack on anybody who could come for you, could be killed, okay? So now, some people from outside, we see it as witchcraft, a harmful, okay? For you, it is protection, okay? So sometimes people come and put something in their houses or at the doorstep to protect themselves.
Yeah, so like for an example, we have like hex signs, and like I think the Amish would put these signs, big pictures on their barns as protection.
Protection, good. Okay. Now, some people will see it as a kind of spiritual attack or weapon or something to harm their enemies. So if you perceive yourself as my enemy and you see such thing, you think that thing is for you.
Okay.
Good. Now they start suspecting those individuals. They now be wishing them something harm to happen to them. Now, some people, if within that period something happens to you, you get ill, you cannot recover, you had an accident, or the first child died, the second child died. It could be as a result of this sickle cell. I think that's
sickle cell.
Yeah. Sickle cell disease. Okay, but then people don't actually think in that direction. They will be thinking that somebody is responsible for killing, especially when the other person, the kids are alive, they will give birth, nothing happens. They're alive, they're healthy, playing around, and your own, after a year or two or something, it dies at birth. And that's your enemy. You now think that the person is responsible for your problem.
So rather than go like here, if something like that happened, we would immediately think there was something health-wise, and we'd go to hospital and find out like what's happened. Oh, they passed away because of the disease. But from what you're telling me, like the first impression is this person over here put like a curse on them or
yes, exactly. Okay, good. Look at it. Now, sometimes before they really become firm on that accusation, they will go somewhere, because there are some traditional priests who operate in the communities. Okay? They set up what they call shrine or consulting for spiritual homes. You go there to pay. They will still collect money from you. These are people who can access medical care or something, they will not go to them, but you will pay, or they will tell you to bring goat, which you also buy with money, or which has monetary value, or bring kola nut, or bring certain things that they will use it for sacrifice. That's another scam. When when they kill these goats, you know what they do? They kill the goat and sprinkle the blood. That's what they give to the gods. Then they will take away the meat,
and use the meat.
and use the meat for the family.
So they get
family of the priest.
So they get a free meal.
Exactly.
Okay. And is this so? These priests, are these Catholic priests?
No, these are traditional priests.
Traditional
priests.
So when you say traditional,
when I say traditional, African traditional religion,
okay, all right.
And because there were priests before all this Catholic even imam, or when they came in. Okay,
right.
Now these are, you consult them when there are problems. Sometimes they give you something to put on your door, sleep with, just to protect yourself.
No, it's not. I don't know the proper term, but would this be like a medicine man or a?
Good. There weren't a clear line between medicine and spiritual religious services.
Yes.
All right. Usually, because these people knew very little then, so medicine easily translates into spiritual stuff. Because when they give you the herbs that are not working, you are not responding, they will think, this is beyond the material. They now want you to start doing some sacrifice to the gods. So the lines are not really clear between material medicinal services.
And that probably helps them, right? If it's blurry lines, you can change it up any way you want.
Yeah, and the market is there. It broadens your market.
The market, yeah.
Okay. So they hardly have referrals.
I wasn't expecting that.
So they move from one phase to another phase. And when you go to the spiritual phase, there's no limit.
The sky is not even the limit.
You get it?
Keep going.
You keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how people got exploited. Okay. So when they go to these people, they now tell them, look, this is not a material medicinal. This is not a physical medicinal stuff. Now, immediately they say that, they now begin to get them to start looking within their family circles, community circles, who must have been threatening, or who must have made some, who must have been having issues with the person. Good. So now this is how the accusation, begin to take shape. Now, in situation where the person supposedly being affected, is in a strong social cultural position. Yes, he could go and confront the person, and if possible, attack and kill the person. Yes, because they think that by eliminating the person who harbors that harmful magic, the harmful magic will not have a kind of an embodiment. It's no longer embodied. That's the way to eliminate it. So many of these victims are those whom the accusers have thought that they could eliminate, or they could disable the power in them.
So they go to the accuser's mind. They see as they're going right to the source of the problem, and they're going to eliminate the source, and that will fix everything.
Of course, that's their belief. They believe that will fix everything. Okay. Now, when they refuse to admit, because they have gone to a traditional religious expert who had told them that they have looked into the unknown world, see where religion plays a scam. You see somebody who doesn't even have an income, looking into the unknown world and understanding what is going on. Do you see it?
Yes.
Good. They have looked into the unknown world and they have known the unknown. Sometimes when you call religion a scam, people think, you are being, whatever, is it too aggressive or confrontational or militant? It's not really being militant. You are saying it as it is. How do you get into the unknown world and know the unknown? There's contradiction. If you look at it, you can say, I'm not playing on words there. I'm just telling you the contradiction.
I've heard that before. Yeah. Look into the unknown and then they know somebody.
Yeah. You get it? And that is what makes these people emboldened, the accusers and the witch hunters. They now come for you with some kind of, some assurance, and
they're confident now because they have this authority figure.
Good.
That has told them, yes, what you think is true, and you need to go look. It's an evil person.
Good.
So, I want to make an observation real quick. This sounds like the accusers are using witchcraft to accuse other people of witchcraft.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just want to
You might put it in your own way. You might put it in your own way. Yes. Because the whole process of that process of accusation, that is what we call witchcraft, and all that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because outside that, there's nothing again. It's just that accusation process. Something happens to you, you go somewhere, somebody claim to have authority, tells you are right, go ahead, somebody's there, you're going to take action based on that. For me, that's accusation process. And that is what we are trying to address. And that is why I'm saying that what we're addressing is entirely different from, the Wiccan religion and all that.
Yes.
And if they can understand what we're addressing, they will now know that it resonates with what happened, they say, in America. It's about the 17th century.
The Salem witch
hunts, which I understand was actually beyond Salem. They had some in Connecticut and a few and all that. But Salem was, I think, where most of the accusations and all that took place.
That was historically that's the most popular
capital, and all that. So you can see what we're addressing. Now you see how it's different from maybe what is going on today. And I always want to make these clarifications, especially when I'm talking to the Western audience, because they think that, he's a humanist, he's against, which I'm not. If you have that religion, that's your business. I defend the right to freedom of religion. But when you have this idea, you entertain it in this manner, and then, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or humanist or whatever you call yourself. But if you entertain this kind of notion, I will really have issues with you. And that's exactly what we're fighting.
You're fine with people practicing their own religion for themselves.
Yeah.
But when it spills over into harming other people,
that's where I have a problem.
And
I want to say religion or ideology. I don't want to say it's only religion. If you have an ideology, or an idea about life or an outlook, and you now think that another person should be killed or harmed because of your outlook, not my outlook.
Right.
Because this is what I tell them, even our Muslims guy. Oh, you believe your prophet is the best. Okay, that's your opinion. He's not the best. I don't care about him. And if you ask me, I express my views. I don't want us to shift the topic, but I'm just making you to understand that religion has a way of making those who believe think that they can really go and attack another person.
Yeah.
Based on what they believe. Crusades.
Sorry. Got him.
I got it. I had it. So
I tried to be subtle.
Yeah. So that's the issue. That's exactly what we have. So we have issues with the authorities that help reinforce or motivate accusation and witch hunting. We also have issues with those who entertain that belief and feel they have to harm others, in the name of what they believe. And that is what cuts across, whether it is witchcraft accusation, whether it's blasphemy accusation, whether, a lot of harm linked to religion is often as a result of people attacking, harming others based on what they believe. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And we are trying to draw that line. And that line, and we are using our work when it comes to witch hunting, allegations of blasphemy to say, hey, you have to stop. This is your belief. It's not my belief.
Right.
Okay? And all that. So if you harm me based on my belief, then based on your belief, then you have to answer for it. Okay? It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
So the authority figure that they go to to confirm their suspicions. Is that authority figure ever looked at as being a witch or being
It depends.
evil?
It depends. Okay. Now, when I was doing my field work, I met an authority figure. Now, the younger brother accused him of being responsible for his own, because he used to come, do some consultation for people who have issues and all that.
Okay.
So, but his younger brother, I think, took ill for a long time and thought that he was the one responsible. This traditional priest was the one responsible. And, mobilized people in the community. They beat him up, and threw him out of the village. So he went to what they call witch camps in Ghana. There's a place where people who don't want to be killed or who fear for their lives, they flee to these places and stay there. So I met him at those places and he told me what happened. So if you're a traditional priest, you can be accused.
Okay.
If your brother, your family relative think that you are not only healing, but you are harming.
Okay.
If they think,
Wow.
I like using the word think, but I think it's usually not the proper word, even though I'm not English. If they believe,
Yeah. Believe, I think, is a better term for that. Yeah.
yeah, if they believe
Yeah.
that you are not only healing, but you are harming, or you are harming them. Remember, you may be harming, but you may not be harming them. They may believe you are harming, but not harming them. But even though when they believe you are harming, they will still be worried about you because they may think that one day you might
Turn on them.
turn on them. Okay. Good. So when they believe that, you could be accused and you could be evicted. You could be removed.
So it sounds like everyone is paranoid and no one is safe. Like no
Yes.
one, because everyone,
Yes.
in a turn of a second,
yes,
you could be accused.
Yes, and this is exactly what some of the things that when I read the literature, the African witchcraft, you don't see it there. Okay, everybody can be accused. So now you meet a lot of I meet a lot of victims of witch hunts who will tell me, oh, I'm not the one. It's the other woman. They say they're not the one.
I'm not the one. It's that.
Yeah,
that
you get
person.
it. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, yeah, because people are socialized that way. So one of the things we are trying to do in our advocacy work is to provide alternative ways of socializing people and looking at their problems. And when you are sick, where do you go? What kind of information do you need? You don't go to people. Now, let me just tell you one story about these so-called authorities. I visited a couple of them.
Sure.
Because when I was doing my field work, I wanted to know as much as I could know. So I was going around. They said, all right, we went here. I said, can we go? I'll go there. I visited a couple of the authorities in this, and two of them were just very interesting. One was the one I just told you. Now, he was kicked out by the brother,
Right.
And all that. Like, okay, whether you are harming or healing, you could harm me one day. Better leave this community.
Go get out.
Get out. So, and I went to consult. I went to see him and all that. So, and when I come, he asked me what was the reason. I said I wanted to know how he used to do the work and things like that. Now, he told me to come with a bottle of gin. I don't know what gin? Whiskey, something like whiskey.
Okay.
This hot drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before he starts, he will take the hot drink. And I was like, wow, okay. And when he takes the hot drink, he will just do his eyes this way. I said, I mean, if you take this, why won't you see spirits? Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Look at it. And he takes this thing and then he'll start looking at stones and cowries. And I said, is that how you see spirits? I can see spirits too. If I take the volume of the whiskey you take, I'll see spirits. Oh, I went to another one. Because in this case, this guy, there's what they call, how they discover witches. They say they have this broom. I call it a broom test. They put two brooms across your neck of the suspects. Okay. They line up, they put this and drag them. If you are not a witch, the gods will separate the broom. So the broom will not drag you. But if you are a witch, the gods won't separate the broom until you start confessing and they will start choking you. So they indicted this woman I met at the so-called witch camps, and she told me where they convicted her, and I traced my way to the young man, just maybe in his early 30s or thereabout. So when I went there, they told me to come with bread, a loaf of bread, milk, sugar, then a bottle of gin again. Okay,
they like their gin.
Yes. So when I came, so as soon as I came, first of all, he took the gin and he drank from the bottle. He didn't even put it in it. He drank from the bottle. And he was intoxicated. I visited him twice. He was always drunk or intoxicated. So and when he comes, he'll be making some very careless statements. They say, the priest is talking. The priest is not talking. This guy is drunk. They tell you unstable. Okay, yeah. So I will ask myself, these are people who are giving out instructions that people are using to beat up and harm others. Okay? So it was a kind of enlightening and I said, okay, there's a need for us to look into these allegations because these are the people that are consulted. by people who are having suspicions. So these are part of the work we're doing, and this is how we're trying to,
Yeah.
come to terms with it.
Yeah, they're people are taking advice that changes their lives from a drunk guy.
Yes, a drunk guy. Sometimes an illiterate, sometimes somebody under the influence of either alcohol or, if you see the way he moves around within the shrine, whenever he's coming, everybody, like sometimes when the bishops are coming, like, sit up. So whenever he's coming, people sit up. The guy, I'll be looking at him very well because he's a young man. I said,
Right.
no, the guy is unstable. You get it?
Wow.
And he makes pronouncement that will lead to people's death or torture or banishment from their communities. So I tried to ask him, I asked him whether he was trained in any way, and all that. He said he was registered with the African traditional religious practitioners. So he brought out his ID card and he showed it to me. And what they wrote their profession, he said psychic.
Ha.
And I can tell you.
Oh, I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad actually laughing because of what we're talking about here. But yeah, to see that psychic.
Yeah, psychic. And I was like, psychic? Let me tell you. Look, Kenny, that guy doesn't know the meaning of psychic. Because number one, he's not illiterate. Because at least but he has a lot of people around him. Because there's this teacher, in a local school who was my contact person. Who will just, explain to him kind of a translator or something like that. Good. I'm sure he was the one packaging this guy, I know he doesn't know what psychic. I must tell you, but they must have told him that's what you could use as a cover. So he made you answer psychic. He said, okay, psychic is some,
yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
He's giving advice.
And so I looked at it, I said, oh no. So the whole place is messed up. Okay. Right. So, and it is this kind of mess we're trying to address. Okay. It's this kind of insanity we're trying to address. Because it's not just like a fairy tale. It's not like something that is harmless. People are dying. People are being set ablaze. People are being,
Tell us more about that. What happens when someone's accused? What happens if I go to this psychic and that just kills me, man. Did he know that it said psychic on his ID card?
What? I don't know, but he just gave it to me.
He just showed it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So he probably doesn't know. So I go to the psychic and he says, yes, this person that you think is the source of your problem. He's the source of your problem.
Yeah.
Now I accuse him. Do people like go to an authority like the police?
No. Immediately you are going to the psychic. It is off the police.
So the police are not involved. No. This is a whole separate.
Yeah. It's a whole separate trajectory. It's a different part. Okay. Because if you go to the police part, both the psychic and the accuser will be arrested.
Oh. Yes. Because are witchcraft accusations
in Nigeria is a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime.
But it still happens.
It still happens. Because it is usually the powerful against the weak. That's why you see elderly women, you see elderly women, you see children, people with disabilities, single mothers, widows. These are people who are more prone to suffering the extremes. Remember, as we said, people can be suspecting all their neighbors, both powerful and rich. But it's the person you can really take the action, take it out.
Right.
Okay? So these are the people. That's why they go for those people who are in a very weak position, who are unable to resist.
So basically,
they can't go to the police. Yes.
Easy target.
Yeah, these are easy targets. Because and the accusers won't go to the police, because when they go to the police, they will actually be arrested. Yes. So they will avoid the police. They will go to all these traditional people who will, tell them
start this process.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then they go to the psychic and make the accusation. Do these accusers go directly and take matters in their own hands?
It depends on the power relation. Okay. Now, if for instance, very often, you see some of them, if they're elderly, if the victims, the accused are elderly women are living alone, the person will just come and mobilize. Because when they come back, they will now go and tell people, we have confirmed from the psychic that this is the woman.
Spread the
then
rumors.
the rumor goes around.
Okay.
And as the rumor is going around, the whole community is rallying against one person. So until you say enough, we have to, get rid of her.
Okay.
So they'll be there one morning. You will now see the mob surrounding your house. Yes.
Okay.
And there you have to start negotiating safety, elimination, death, killing, torture. So that's it. The mob action can take any direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes some people, if they get the wink of it, if they get information early enough, they leave before the mob arrives.
Okay.
Or as they come, whatever the mob said you should do, they will do. Now, there are so many examples. There will be situations when they will drag them out at night. When they come in the night, it's always very likely the person will be killed. Yes. Yeah. So because you are helpless, before the daybreak, the police that are there, the police will be sleeping by that time. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, so there's the police aren't 24/7.
Yeah. You see, when you say 24/7, the thing is that it's rare for the police to respond in the night. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, in rural communities, the police are not there. The police are always in the very kind of a bit urban part of the place.
Okay.
Yes. And even during the day, they find it difficult to go to remote villages. So when we call them to go, they'll be asking us for money, vehicle to go to those. They'll ask us for vehicle, to provide vehicle for them.
Because they don't have the resources.
Yeah, sometimes they have, but sometimes because they have this vehicle and they're not well paid, they need you to give them money. They use that vehicle as a means to extort money.
Okay.
So that when you give them that money, they may go, they may not go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's maybe it's like if they feel like helping.
Yeah, if you feel like helping, or if the authority, sometimes if they get an authorization from a higher authority, from their seniors, then you also have to take care of them. Otherwise, they might go there, they won't make any arrest. They will tell you they didn't find a suspect. They will come back.
Wow.
So it's like you'll be fighting in different fronts, even when you get involved in the police. Okay. Right. So that is what makes, sometimes our work, quite challenging.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with mobs that are intent on either killing or torturing someone. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them and few of you, and you're trying to stand in the way.
Exactly.
So and this will probably get very graphic, but what are some of the things that have happened?
Many. Let me say let me go from one country. Let's say in Nigeria, as I was just coming here some weeks ago, somebody identified a small girl of about 13 years as being responsible for the killing and harm and death in the community. So the mob went and abducted this girl, and they set up fire. They just put her very close to the fire. So they were pushing her close to the fire for her to admit that she was responsible. So they did that. They started that about midnight, and she was just close to the fire till morning. And she had burns, part of her buttocks got burned. So at that point she was burning, she now admitted that she was responsible for the so-called death or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So they now left her. So when they left her, she now said no, she wasn't responsible after the pain was over and all that, because she was denying. She only admitted at that point because when the pain was so much and all that.
So she just admitted to make them stop.
Yes, to make them stop. That's usually what happens, and it's not just in Nigeria, but also in Ghana and other places. But there are places when they don't actually stop. You might admit, they confirm that you are, but they say, okay, go before you kill another person. So admitting sometimes is also tricky.
Yeah, you don't know whether they're going to let you go or like, now that we got you, you admitted it. Now we have reason to kill you.
To get rid of you. Wow. So it's really tough. So that we had that, we now have to get the police to arrest the person who masterminded the torture. Right. But it was a process because the local police were afraid of the local thugs because they thought that if they arrest them, they could come in the night or come and burn down the place, because there are few police officers in these places. So you might have 5 or 10 police officers in a community of about thousands of people. So they feel they're always not ready to engage the mob, because they might dismiss, go and plan in the night when they're just sitting alone, they'll come and attack them.
Right.
and burn down. There have been occasions when they burn down police stations.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you do now? You now try to get the higher police people to come in with their vehicle. Now, for them to come in with their vehicle, that's a lot of money they're going to extort from you.
Okay.
Okay. So they have made law enforcement not just costly, but discourage people even from resorting to using the law. And that's why those accusers, they use the other means, the traditional authority, psychic means. Now, the accused are not in the position to use the police, which is on the side of the accused.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they know that they could get away with it. So in many cases, so what we're trying to do at our advocacy for alleged is to make sure they don't get away with it.
You are their only hope.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
That's
what we're trying to do. So, and it's like when we come in, it's like, we thought this matter has been settled. I say it has not. You get it? Go for the guy who did it. They said, if we go for that, others might. I said, go for him. They will calm down. So immediately we arrest the people. Everywhere comes down. And now they now start pleading to get the case out of the police, to get the case out of court and things like that.
Okay.
So that's what we have done in that case. So we've done it in the case of that child. In another case, a man was also accused and they abducted him in the night and they set him on fire and all that. And he narrowly survived. Because very often when we have survivors, we actually concentrate on those cases because there are cases when we had 2 or 3 other cases. One person was buried alive. Yeah. Yes. I'm saying in Nigeria. I'm not saying what happened last year.
Right.
I'm saying this year.
This year, 2023.
Yes. Somebody was
people are being accused of witchcraft and buried alive.
Yes. We have it in Zambia. We have had it in Nigeria. And we have it in other places. These are the ones that the report got to us. Many we don't get to hear because they happen in rural communities. And when it happens, there is this silence. Please, don't talk about it. You know, there was an instance some years ago. They brought all the accused to the traditional authority, the home of the traditional authority, and the traditional authority gave them some concoction to drink. At least 10 of them collapsed and died there.
Was that because it was poison?
Yes, very likely. Definitely. Wow. And because the person who engineered this, who was behind this, was an ex-military officer, everybody now suppressed it.
Clap.
Yeah, no, not clapping.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was like, oh my goodness, they clapped?
No. Okay. They were suppressed. So if you want to investigate it, they say, please, don't. So that's how the matter is. I'm still interested. What I'm trying to do now, drawing from what is going on here. At least let there become kind of a memorial. Let's do something to still send the message to people who did this thing that we're aware that they committed atrocity.
Right.
You get it? And they may have gotten away with it, but we still remember.
We remember, and we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to let people know.
We're going to let people know. And it's going to haunt them. You see? So these are part and parcel of some of the things, we're trying to do, at our own end. Yeah.
You should. And it sounds like there's a lot of fear involved.
Yeah.
The community is afraid that if they speak up, the same thing will happen to them.
Exactly.
Because,
and if you are coming to get them to speak up, you are endangering them.
Right.
This is it.
It sounds like it's very easy to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
Just accuse them.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if they did anything or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he spoke up.
Mm-hmm.
He's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing this. Let's kill him.
Okay. Yes. And when it happens, or the person is tortured, people resign to the situation because they think that if you also come, you want to make a case out of it, you might be putting them in more danger. So it's like you're accused, you are beaten, or your relatives are attacked or killed. Keep quiet, because the guy is gone.
Yeah.
So when you come and say you shouldn't keep quiet, you should go to the police, they'll be looking at you as if you are further putting them at risk.
Yeah.
You get it? So occasionally we have these bold, knowledgeable, enlightened family members, not always, who will say, let's go, when we go to the police. And now, people who are the accusers will either run and leave the village, or they will start begging, they start asking for apology and all that. So we have achieved that on a couple of occasions. Like now, the girl who was set ablaze, they burnt her with fire. The man who was abducted in the night and set up, they set up fire and all that. But there are occasions where the family members will tell you, please, we are not for that. We are not interested. We have handed it over to God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not going to help.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
That's not going to help.
That's not going to help. And the thing, because it will continue to perpetuate this situation of impunity. People think they can always get away with it.
Right.
You get it? So the message we try to send is that never again. So, and that's why when it happens, we put it on social media, we involve the police, we harass the police, want them to do. We want to send a message. Anytime we are doing this, we are inviting trouble.
Right.
You will hear from us. So this is the much we are trying to do. So sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we just succeed in, getting the news out there. But if the family members are not cooperating, if they are not ready to help us, really scale up the problem, so we just do as much as we can do.
So what can you do? What can you do to help?
Well, it depends on where you are. When you say you now, myself, what can I do? Or
let's start. What do you do to help, and what can other people do that are watching this? What can we do to help?
The thing is that what do we do to help? We first of all want to understand the case. Yeah, that's the first thing. They need to tell us what happened, who played what role. Okay? And from understanding what happened, we take it on case-by-case basis. So then we know who is supporting the accused. Who is the accuser? Who is the accused? Who is supporting the accuser? Who is supporting the accused? First of all, we use that, I think they call it, is it the Hippocratic other oath or something? Do no harm. Immediately we set in.
Oh, yeah.
Do no harm to the accused. Okay. First of all, we move to the side of the accused. We can take the person out of the community. Like the girl who was born, we took her out of the community and put her in a hotel away from the village for about 2 weeks, just to understand what happened.
Yeah.
Who played which role and what. So with that, we now know whom to report, petition the police, what should be done. So that's what we do. First of all, do no harm. At least when the person is still alive. Okay? If the person is dead, it's always difficult for us because families are pained. They don't want to go into being extorted by the police, and they know that nothing will come out of it when the person is dead. But we also want to highlight it because to kill somebody that way should not just happen without some consequence.
Yeah.
You see it?
They have to pay for what they
did. Yes. So, but it's always challenging because they're like, okay, all this money we're spending, all this time we're going around, our relative is dead. What is going to come out of it? So it's always challenging. But when the person is survived, it's always helpful because they know very well that the person will be getting the benefit and attention. Right. So these are things that decide what we do and how we do it. So when the family is cooperating, the person is alive, we get on. If the person needs medical help, we help take the person to a hospital, pay hospital bills, provide themselves with some money, just make the person feel good, get over the trauma. Like now the girl who was accused, we put her in a hotel with the father and all that. So they said she was watching TV and all that and cartoons and all that. I said, yes, that's what a child should be doing, not confessing to witchcraft.
Right.
Go to school, come back and watch cartoons and do what children do.
To do what children do.
Yeah.
Not be afraid for your life.
Exactly. So that's what we do. So we try to look at this on case-by-case basis. So the man who was abducted, the daughter was there. The daughter was taking care of him. So we were sending money for hospital bills and all the running around. Then we were petitioning the police for them to make arrests. So they went and arrested some of the suspects. They're prosecuting them now. We're attending the court session just to make sure things are going, how it should go and all that. So this is exactly what we do. So if we understand the story, we establish the needs and we now come in depending on what we have and within the limits of our capacity. So now from those outside who are watching this, for me, one thing is that I've been traveling around and I've been speaking to many Americans here and they'll say, I don't know that this is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want us to know that this is going on. And for me, knowledge is power. So if you know, you don't have the power to do all that. So when you know, like I said, we try to understand the cases and we don't know where to come in. So if you know this is going on, help us in your own way. Yeah. Not everybody is in the position to do all that. You may not be in the position to do what I do. Okay. And all that. Yeah. So what are you in the position to do? Let people know that this is going on. If there are platforms, because sometimes we don't have too many platforms to really advocate what we're doing. It's always hostile.
Right.
You are dealing with people who will say, are you saying witches don't exist? what religion is you? What is your religion? Don't you believe in God? Don't you believe in devil? They keep asking irrelevant questions.
Exactly. Yeah, like, no, I don't believe that stuff.
Yeah. Look at it, and you know what happens? Immediately you say, because a lot of you, they ask me, immediately you say, okay, I don't believe in God. They say, okay, no wonder. They shut out. They
don't want to talk to you.
They want to talk to you again. Yeah. Now, when you start to you want them to get the message, forget about this irrelevant question. They still be interested in irrelevant question, and from there, the whole thing, the whole discussion goes towards another direction until the person's mother is attacked or killed, until the person's child is set ablaze, until somebody harms another. That's when they will now set aside the same argument they were using. They now call you, please, can you help? And I told them, I said, until you will realize this, but we should not wait until a family member is attacked before we know that we should set aside some of these things and begin to face the fact that people are harming others, committing atrocities, killing innocent people. And some of them, there was a case in Kenya, a grandchild macheted the grandmother to death in an open field and set the corpse ablaze.
The grandchild killed
the
grandmother with a machete?
Yes, machete.
Like,
and the lady, the woman was pleading. The photo is online. The woman was pleading with him, but no way. And it happened in Kenya. Okay. Now we have a case in that was, I think, in Liberia. I'm not sure. Either Liberia or Sierra Leone. One of the, I think it should be Liberia. The woman was accused. They were threatening her. They were accusing her and all that. And you know what she did? She told them that she would like to take the witch removing concoction. They gave it to her and she died. So they must have given her poison. This is it. So this is not a light issue. So what I'm saying there is that we are facing a serious issue. We have a serious issue in our hands. And if there are people who understand it, they should, help us in getting this message across. They should help amplify our voices. Okay? Because the UN, is dancing around, passing resolutions. As they were passing resolutions, they were lynching people in Kenya.
Right.
Do you get it? You get it. The UN is very far from reality, and all that.
Yeah.
So they organized a meeting recently that they want to agree on the guidelines to address. I say only agreement on guidelines. That's what we want to use all the resources for.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Do your guidelines, but we need people there. We need people in boots on ground.
Exactly.
Working this.
Do you get it? So we need people on ground. So if you can help us be on ground, that is how. Like now, I want to go to Ghana, where I did my field work. I want to make sure that people are not going to makeshift camps and huts, and they will live there. Some of them are widows. The hunger is killing them there. They don't have family members. Nobody is coming to look after them. They die of simple diseases. I went there. I met this woman when I went for my field work. When I returned, they told me that something bit her, an insect or something bit her. Before they could get any help, she died. She died. And they buried her just by the side of the hut. Wow. So, there's a tragic situation going on. And often you don't see this reflected. And when they say it, they treat it with this wave of hand, as if it doesn't matter. It matters to me. Okay? And it is important because when they say witch hunting, is a thing of the past, they're talking of only a part of the world. You get it?
Yeah, right.
We should talk about the whole world.
The whole world.
Like now, we were talking about COVID. We're not talking about COVID, we're addressing COVID in this global because everybody knows that, if COVID is still going on in one part of the world, the other part, they're not safe. Okay. Right. I think we should also have that. That if this thing is still going up, not just in Africa, in Asia, in Papua New Guinea and all that, we should not relax. We should still, keep addressing it till all of us can say it belongs to the past.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we seem to be living in different worlds. In one part of the world, they say, we don't know that it's going on. In another part of the world, it's happening every day. I'm dealing with it every day. So something is wrong. We need to really break the barrier that stops us from saying this as a global issue.
Every time I bring this up, because I speak about you, I talk about you, because I love what you do. Okay. And when I mention it, every single time, people look at me like, are you kidding? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, did this happen like 100 years ago
Yeah.
or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
no, this is happening today.
It's happening today.
Today it's happening.
Today.
And-
Sorry to interrupt you. In Zimbabwe, two guys, they killed their father in Zimbabwe. Go online and check it.
Two kids killed their own father.
They killed their own father because they said the father was responsible for the death of one of them. You know, because they must have gone to the authority. That's of course my own decision, because for them to take that action, they must have gone somewhere.
They went to the psychic.
Yeah, the psychic.
Okay.
Yeah, and who will tell them, oh, it's your father or something, or somebody in your family.
Right.
Because sometimes those guys are also smart. They may not tell you specifically who the person is. They might say, oh, somebody in your family. And you will now come to the conclusion who it is. They killed their father. Do you get it? People kill their father, they kill their mother, they kill their children. Now, today, as a result of this. And that I speak to an audience that say, we don't know this is going on. It means that there's something wrong somewhere. In the communication, in the presentation, in the representation. And we need to fix that first before we can get the kind of help we need.
I think I would say first we need to get rid of the psychics.
Okay.
Ship them out. Ship them out. Get them.
Okay.
I'm not saying eliminate them because I don't condone violence much, but get them out. And then second, you need the area needs critical thinking. It needs skepticism. It needs understanding of belief versus reality.
And this is also part of the what I'm trying to do. At the moment now, I'm developing materials on the critical thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I know that if we don't have a robust critical thinking culture, this is not going to stop.
Right. The belief is going to keep going.
Yes.
And you're never going to come out of this.
Yes. Because so that's why I tried to develop materials for critical thinking for children, for kids, kindergarten, lower primary schools. And here, what I'm trying to do is to reward children for asking questions, exercising their curiosity. So intelligence within this framework is now tested, not by how much answers you memorize and regurgitate, but how many answers you memorize and regurgitate, but how many questions you're able to generate. Okay. So that when you come into a place like this, you should come here with a sense of curiosity by asking questions, interrogating things you see, not by memorizing and things you are told and things like that. So I'm developing that, hoping that it will help reposition the society. It will help reorient the young people, because we really cannot go on condemning, bemoaning the situation. We also need to ask ourselves, what are we putting in place to address some of the issues or some of the things that really got us to this? If you understand how you got into this, you can now begin to put in place something that can help you get out of it. Yeah. So, which I think is making critical thinking a subject in school, having it as a program in schools. So right now, while we try to rescue and assist these people, I have registered a critical thinking NGO in Nigeria and all that. And what we're trying to do is to develop these materials, hold workshops, teachers. And of course, during these workshops, some of the teachers will say, look, that we're going to have some issues with parents because children will be asking too many questions. I said, that's exactly what I want to achieve. Do you get it?
We need them to ask questions.
Do you get it? So that's exactly where I am. I just hope that will be a kind of a moderate contribution, to a process that will really help reposition my society, my continent, and other places where, this kind of problem, still persists.
Right. Right. That's a good start. I mean, to start in the schools or when they're young, so they'll grow up with this idea in their head, and they'll ask questions. They'll have confrontations, because that's part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But, to learn to deal with that. I mean, is that something that you also talk about or teach? Like, you're going to ask questions, you're going to get pushback.
Yeah, but at the primary school, we of course we discuss that with teachers, but with the children, we try to create that environment, because sometimes children not usually think that maybe when they ask questions they get pushback. Okay. But critical thinking is a no pushback environment. So we tell the teachers, create that environment, because the teachers are concerned. Actually, where the concern comes is not from the children, it's from the teachers. Okay. Because the teachers will ask us during the training, they say, but what if they ask me questions I don't know the answer? I say, yes, that's the purpose of this.
That's when you learn. Everybody gets to learn that.
Yes, do you get it? So the pushback at that level actually is coming from teachers or parents. Okay. Now, but what we are trying to make them understand that children should ask questions, and sometimes those questions might be annoying to you. You may not have the answer, but the way we are framing it is that in critical thinking class for children, questions are asked for question's sake.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, answers, you could go home, whether you know the answers or not. It's immaterial within a critical thinking class because it's all about questions. Now, you can go home to get answers if you need to give them answers and all that. Because we should leave the schools curiouser. Okay, because that would make us go to the library, to go and look for answers and things like that. So I make them understand that when they tell me, oh, they will ask too much questions, I say, yes, that's the purpose of the subject. They will ask me questions I don't understand. I say, yes, that's the purpose of the subject. So you are just reaffirming why we have the subject. And all that. And teachers should not see themselves as a epitome of knowledge or answers. They should know that they can be rattled, by questions, children ask. And they should welcome that. They should shoot that at welcome development.
Right.
So that's exactly where we are going with that subject. And right now, it's being received, and all that. But what we just need to do is to develop the materials ourselves to make sure it reflects, of course, the sentiments, the kind of values or the kind of feeling and results and outcomes we anticipate. So that's what I devote part of my time doing.
That sounds like a good start.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything you do, I really appreciate it. And I know it's not much because I do so little, but I appreciate everything that you do and the work that you do and that you put yourself in harm's way. Like literally, you put yourself in harm's way. We were talking about this last night. I'm like, man.
The thing is this. The way I look at that harms thing, I've told you about a kid.
Yes.
They set fire and burnt the kids. I have the picture here, but I don't like showing that.
Right.
But, don't get what I'm saying. They burnt somebody's father. They said they abducted the person, set the person ablaze. There's a whole lot of violence associated with this. And I'm there, and I know that these people are innocent.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do? How do you do it? So if taking some risks, just to make sure that these people, do not suffer, or that people who perpetrate this, are penalized. I think it is a risk worth taking. Yeah. Right. So I see the risk I face as worth taking. So, and that is why, for me, I don't even actually think about it. It's actually later. Because if you tell me now, if you bring information now, they have beaten up this woman in this community. Okay, what do we do? Police, whoever can get in and make sure that those crazy people, somebody begins to tell them, start running or start heading to the prison. These are two ways. You can't do this and still remain there. And all that. So what I'm saying there is that I see it as a risk worth taking because a price has to be paid if we want to have a sane world. Right. If we want to make sanity out of what is going on there, okay? A price has to be paid. And sometimes risk has to be taken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that this society we envisage will just drop like manna from heaven. I'm sure you can connect with that.
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
Get it. It's not. A price has to be paid. Okay?
Right.
And if it's said that I've taken a little bit of risk to pay this price. If that is the price I have to pay, that's fine. But like I tell you, I don't think about it. The first thing that gets into my mind is not the risk. The first thing is that how do I get at those people? Like now, as I'm talking to you here now, I want to make sure that these refuge centers in the north of Ghana, they shut them down. People should go back to their houses. Mm-hmm. Women, elderly women, when you are elder, that's actually when you should be very close, either to your family and things like that, they help you. Or there should be a kind of an institution, old people's home, where the society you helped grow, you have children, you worked over this, can take care of you.
Yes.
Instead of abandoning you in a desert, a deserted place, makeshift camps, insects will come and beat you and you die. Come on now. Come on. Right. And you think that somebody should go home because of the risk and all that? How can you sleep? For me, I can't sleep anytime because sometimes I get this news about 10 p.m. There was one of the cases they brought it. We were just having a dinner, relaxing and all that. They got the news. So my colleague just passed the phone on to me. These are children. They abducted their mom. They accused their mom, wanted to drag their mom to their church for her to go through exorcism. The woman refused because she knew what was going to happen there.
Right.
They took her to the bush. They were threatening to kill her. I got a call. What do you do by 10 p.m.? Somebody is in a bush somewhere. So we started making calls. Anybody we could call. That kind of thing. So until luckily, the woman wasn't harmed, but they beat her. She had some bruises and things like that. So what am I trying to say? This is the kind of work I do. So when it comes, I don't even think about the risk. Because left for me, if I have my way,
right,
I'll just try to get the police immediately. I just speak. I say, hey, come. Go and cool off. Keep them in jail for some time so that their sense will come back. They will begin the process of reorienting them, and all that. So I don't think about it. And the more I do this and the more I get the feedback, I still think that we still need to do more. We have not really done enough.
And that's the passion that I love about you, is that you don't think about it. It's you get a call, someone's in danger, and you don't think about like, oh, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to get in trouble? Something going to happen? You are like, all right, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We got to do this and this and this. Let's get it now.
Yeah, because it's a matter of life and death.
Yes.
At any moment, immediately gets to me, any moment is very important to move, either the side of safety and survival or death. So it's like, what will I do to make sure, this person is not harmed or no further harm? That kind of thing, because every minute matters. Because of my experience, I know that every minute matters. That is why what I think of, how do you save this person? Sometimes I have to talk to the accusers. There were those that abducted their mother.
Wow.
I had to tell. I asked them to give me the number of the accusers. Excuse me. So I spoke to the guy. I said, "What are you doing?" He started saying, "Yeah, we took her to the bush, but we didn't want to kill her." I said, "You took your own mother to the bush. Is even enough."
Yeah.
Look at what is it that you want to achieve by taking her into the bush? You can't sit down and dialogue. So she said that it wasn't like, I was ready to talk to anybody anytime I get the news, just to say, please, just calm down. Can we talk? And if there are issues or challenges the person is facing, if it's finances, I'm ready to give you just to calm you down. Because I know that any harm you do is a harm you are doing to an innocent person. Okay. So anything you can do to really make sure that harm doesn't happen is worth it, including the risk.
That's great. That makes you such an awesome person. That's why I was so excited to meet you this week and then just talk to you, have a chance to sit down and talk to you, and I really appreciate it. So I guess we can wrap this up. If people want to help, if they want to reach out and do something, donate or whatever, where can they find you?
Good. Yeah, I get this question a lot. And I used to tell them, today we have a network, Center for Inquiry. If they bring it to Center for Inquiry, get to me.
Okay.
And in fact, I have gotten one support. Yes, I got some donations through the Center for Inquiry because we got Ben, visiting.
Ben Rafford, yeah.
And Ben Rafford has been very supportive of our work, and we got donations. He came to the center, and he came to me. Things have changed. It's not like those days. You need to find my contact and all that. Right. So if they get to anything they get to the center will get to me even faster than any other means. So I want a situation whereby we have partner organizations, okay, and this partnership will help us synergize. Because a lot of what I'm doing there, people here might not be able to do it. Okay, but there's something they could do. They can send donations. Okay, with this donation, it comes. Let me tell you what donation does. Donation puts us in the position to act at any time.
Yeah,
24 hours.
24 hours.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I just don't need to either start applying, start making. No. Act at any time, including the midnight. And like I told you, sometimes I'll be in the bathroom. I don't want to say the other one. I'll be in the bathroom. So many things take place in the bathroom.
Right.
I'll get a call when I'm in the bathroom. And you know what?
Yeah.
I stop the bathroom exercise and I go to my table.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I go to my table and I'm ready to make sure I send somebody to get on that issue before I go back to the bathroom. and continue the exercise. And sometimes it takes hours before I get back to the bathroom, because you need to call up somebody, you need to make sure the person is on it, you need to send some money to the person to get done, or get the person to get some money, or get somebody to get some money, that kind of thing. So by the time you are done with these hours have gone, you now get back to the bathroom to finish the business. You know what I'm saying? So that is how I work, and I'm enjoying it, because I always want to make sure that you did your best. You did what you're supposed to do, on this and all that. Because there are some of the accusations. Sometimes we pursue them. We couldn't get through. We didn't succeed. But I asked myself, did we do the much we could do? There were a case of a child, who was beaten up and all that. And we tried to trace the child. We couldn't. And we are still on it, hoping that we could get information about where the child is. There was also another woman. We got information. She was publicly disgraced, and they put some kind of leaves on her and all that. We don't know what happened eventually. So there are some, even if we respond that way, we still get to it then. And because when it happens, I'll call anybody, journalist, NGO, anybody. My former friends who are priests now, I call them. I said, look, this is happening in your parish. Can you give me information? I need to get at this. And they're always very supportive, even though sometimes they're also part of the problem, So what I'm saying there is that when you give donations to us, it puts us in this position to make sure we can act or get somebody to act. Because sometimes when we succeed in acting, the value is so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, on that, I think we can end it on that. That was great. Thank you so much for coming, not only for coming here, for the work you do, for sitting down and talking to me, and informing everyone that's watching of what's going on.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if I could talk to you for days. Because I think we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And just I could go on for days. Yeah. But I'm not gonna, because I'm sure people watching this have something to do.
Exactly.
So and you have a lecture tonight.
Yes.
So I want to make sure you're cool and you get some rest. But yeah, we'll end it there, and we'll see you next time. Never stop learning.
Yeah.